Welcome to TacosandGeeks.com. Justin here, back with more video game reviews, and today we are reviewing Under Night in Birth 2. As always, I give you a brief synopsis, so without further ado, here we go. Under Night in Birth 2 is a continuation of the story Hollow Knight that started over a decade ago. Presented with a complete visual overhaul, newcomers can join 21 characters from the previous games in the UE series. This new title comes complete with updates to the classic Under Night and Birth battle system, additional moveset, and the series' first implementation of rollback netcode. Each character features an impressive 600 frames of animation, surpassing all previous 2D fighting games. This is an unprecedented amount of graphical fidelity, smoothness to the gameplay, allowing new combat system to shine through. Beginners will be able to perform combat simply by pressing buttons in sequence, as well as using the X buttons to perform flashy moves. New moves have been added to the returning cast, giving even veterans a reason to return from a fresh experience. And that is the overview. So let's talk a little bit about the features. As you see here, once a single player, so you have your arcade mode, which is just story mode. You have your score attack mode, which is basically compete for the high score by fighting competing for the high score. You have time attack mode, how fast can you complete in preset battles. Survival mode, who can have the highest winning streak. Missions, when you test yourself on preset combos. And let's check out some of the other features that the game has. You have versus mode, of course, you playing with a friend. You versus computer. Replay, which I'll go into detail. Watch is when you can actually watch how certain characters, how the characters should be played. You have training, which I highly recommend for anyone who's never played this game. Yes, the training is kind of lengthy, but trust me, this game has a unique type of system. So it's not something you can just easily pick up and play. You have gallery here, so you can just check out as you progress through the game. You have various options of things that you can unlock, such as concept art, character art, endings. You can see the SD kind of chibi version of these characters, pixelated art. You can listen to background music, and you get that by going to the points. Now let's go talk about a little bit about what is the story. Now the story is told through by everybody has their own set of stories in arcade mode. So when you go to someone like Hyde, his story is going to be different from somebody else's character. I will say that the story is good, but you have to kind of know the lore. They give a lot of exposition, and for someone who didn't really play part one, I was lost in terms of story concept. I had no idea what such and such meant or what terminologies this was. I had no idea what they were talking about because this is actually a sequel. So it doesn't really, is the story purpose wise is not really friendly to newcomers who have never played this game or never seen the game before. So that being said, the story is good. If I talked to a friend who knows the series like an encyclopedia. I should actually have him help me with the review, but they said the story is really good. For me, I had no idea, so I had to look up, the past previous game to understand a little bit of what this world is building up to. The gameplay wise, you have synopsis says you have a selection of 21 characters to choose from, each with their unique styles, each with their unique designs. Everyone plays very different. You can't just go in and playing Hyde the same way you'll play somebody else. Some people have more long range weapons. Some people are better up close combat. Some people are close to distance. It's typical with your fighting game. I highly recommend anyone, even veteran players, because there are some things that switched up here. I highly recommend you check out the training module to get yourself a little bit affiliated with how the game operates and how the game works and some of the fundamentals of the game, because this is like me. I went in here just thinking, okay, I'm just gonna go in there and just button mash or just press anything and I'm gonna be good. And no, that's not the case here. And this, you're gonna see a little bit of my gameplay here where I tried to do that, and you're gonna see me as Lynn, and I'll just get my ass handed to me by Uzira. And yeah, this is not a game where you can just go in there, press any button. You have to master this. This is what I did like too. The game does a really good job of balancing of defense and offense. Know when to block, know when to go in, know when to keep your distance, know when to use your really X powers. It's so much to do in combos. I would say the combos are more simpler to pull off because even I was able, a total noob, I was able to pull off like at least 10 hit or 15 hit combos with ease when I was actually studying and knowing what my combos are. And speaking of studying, they do have a good feature in here that I really did like the element of doing. It's called the replay mode, which I'll talk about in a bit. But I really like this balance of it. It's a challenging fighting game. Like there's so many fighting games out there right now, especially that we've gotten such as Tekken, Street Fighter, and Mortal Kombat. But this under Night is just the Uni system, the Uni franchise. It's a beast in its own, man. I think the animation is great. I love the frame rate. Had no frame rate issues, no frame rate drops. I love the graphics in this. Definitely an upscale look compared to the previous one and its predecessor. Runs very smooth. Voice acting's top notch. I like the music as well. You have a lot of stages. You get to customize your characters, which I'm gonna go detail with it as well. But this one, like I said, you have to know how to play the game. And I can see that newcomers who don't take the time. This is a fighting game that takes time to master. You're not going to just pick this up and just go full beast mode, even with the more simpler control scheme. Don't get it twisted. Know your combos, know when to block, know when to use your power, know when to go in, know when to pull back, know when to be on the defensive as opposed to the offensive, and know when to do those things, and you'll be pretty successful in this. But I really did enjoy the system, even though it is a kind of a steep curve because that training took me at probably I was going repeatedly with it. So it took me about an hour and 30 minutes to do the training because I wanted to master certain things or at least try to understand the whole thing with the control scheme. Now, you just saw me lost, right? So I'm gonna show you what happens and what this game's feature. And I'm hoping a lot of more fighting games, and I think Tekken is doing this as well. A lot of fighting games are starting to do this replay. And forgive me if this was in there before, but the replay is not just a replay where you could just watch your previous matches and show your friends like, "Hey, I won. Look at me. Look at this great match I did." This playback feature actually allows you to study. Now, let me use sports as an analogy. Now, you know how the opposing team will study tapes of the opponent that they're facing this week, the team that they're facing this week, right? In this game, it has that same thing. You can study your opponent, you can freeze frame, and you can actually go frame by frame, as you can see me doing right here, to see where I messed up, where I should have blocked, where I should have probably did something a little bit different. So you can actually slow it down to still study where your performance was. You can also speed it up as well. And not to mention, they also have another feature, which I'll talk about in a bit, where you can actually take control of your previous game and actually try to win and do it in a way and stop it at a particular part where you feel like, okay, I have an opening here, or maybe I should have did this differently. And it's so amazing because I can see a lot of people who do competitive. You could do the initiate replay, as you can see, replay assist, and now I have control of the same match I got my ass handed to me with. And I thought this was a really brilliant idea, and I hope more fighting games implement this because not only you can learn your combos, you can learn from your mistakes, but it actually helps you learn, especially if you're facing AI, what type of characters, what's their style, when to block, when to do this. So it really was very helpful, and I really thought they did a really good job of implementing that. And the great thing about this, since I don't have footage of it, if you're playing online, you can actually download other players' replays. You can also repost them and show those particular players like, hey, this is where you went wrong, or this is how you do it. So it really is a very welcoming community with this. And speaking of customizations, one of the big demands was the ability to customize your characters, at least change the colors and stuff. But as you progress, you're also able to purchase things. As you can see here, I'm customizing my plate, or I should say my gaming card for when I'm playing online. So as you progress, there's no microtransactions. All this is earned by playing the modes in game, and it's very cheap too. Like you can unlock this with just a couple of rounds of arcade, or just doing a couple of rounds of online, and depending you like how good you do, you get the more points and stuff like that. But you could decorate how your name card is going to be online. You can choose from various things such as how it looks with the background. You can also change the title of it. You can also change the play info right here, like how many times did I die, how many times did I win, so how many times did I lose, how much battles have I done, how much total matches, win rates, personal best, how did I do with the score attack. So they give you a lot of options, but this is where the bread and butter is going to be for a lot of the people who especially are fans of this universe. The ability to change your color and customize it. So they already give you a lot of preset choices, but you have 5 slots to do. As you can see, I did mine for Lynn. You have 5 slots that you can choose and customize. And I'm going to show you real quick before I end this review of how easy it is. You have the base palette, which you could just choose the colors that's already preset. Just like, okay, I'm going to go with this. Or you can do it part by part and really customize it the way you want it to. It would have been nice to actually just be able to choose colors individually instead of the palette. But this is a really good start. And maybe in the next one, you'll be able to do more of, I will say, I'm just going to bring it up like a WWE 2K where I can actually change the colors, choose the color scheme, but choosing different palettes to give it a look and gives people who want who want a certain character to have certain color schemes, it gives them that chance to do it. You can share it online, you can battle it online as well. So it does a really good job of doing that. I really thought it was going to be a little bit more in depth. I would really love actually a creative fighter feature for this game because the gameplay is really that good. The gameplay is so demanding. It'd be nice to create my own character and just take that online against other players. And you could also choose announcer characters. They got the voice actors to announce certain things, so it goes very well. I really did enjoy what this game's offering here. Now, I'm gonna say for my final thoughts, I'm going to be giving under Night in Birth 2. I'm giving this a solid B plus. This is a excellent game. Definitely has some stiff competition, but I will have to say it isn't for everybody. It is a learning curve type of fighting game, but once you get your hands on it, once you get really into it, you are going to be hooked on this game. It takes a while to get into, especially if you're going online. Oh boy, did I get my ass handed to me online. But yes, you're going to enjoy it. They offer enough features here. You got a story mode, you got arcade mode, you have time attacks, score attacks. You have the replay value, which I think a lot of players are going to be using and posting up their replays to see how other players will do it or how other players would have won if they lost the battle. So definitely check this one out. This is Justin from otakusandgeeks.com. If you like what we do here, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. That really helps out the algorithm, the channel. And I'll catch you on the next review. Later days.